Guys, we have just released our new modern UI interface library for MT5. Now, this is the best library for MT5 at the moment for interfaces. Now, this is going to appeal to developers and for people who program their own EAs. Now, if you have ever programmed an EA and you want to try and create a user interface, you know that the standard MT5 tools, they're just terrible. They look bad, they look old, and you don't really have much functionality. So there has been in the past other libraries to create UIs with, but they are now no longer available, or they're just outdated and they're not very efficient. With this library, my goal was to make the best possible user interface library that I can, make it easy for developers to create nice looking modern interfaces, giving you access to controls and widgets that you just don't get from the standard MT5. And also, this library has been created from the ground up to be efficient, with speed in mind, with memory management in mind, and to also support things like native copy and paste when you're using text boxes. This video is going to be an introduction to the library. I'm going to show you some of the panels that you can create using this library. I'm going to go through all of the controls that are available. And in the future, I will be doing some coding tutorials to show you just how easy it is to create amazing looking dashboards inside of MT5. So let's now head over to MT5 and let me go through all of the controls that are available in this library. Here we are inside of MT5 and I have the first panel loaded on my screen. Now, before I continue, all of the example panels and EAs that I'm showing you in this video, they will be available to download for free so that you can check out this library. You can see exactly, what's on offer here, the kind of things that you can do and the kind of panels that you can create. Make sure you check out the link in the description and get your hands on these examples. So the first one that we've got here is the Modern UI Showcase. This example basically just has all of the different controls and elements that come with the library. So it's just showing you exactly what is possible, what it looks like, and this will hopefully give you an idea as to what kind of panels that you can create and the elements that are available to you. Just before I show you, I want to quickly say that this library, it uses the canvas class inside of MT5 to draw basically everything that you're seeing, right? And then what it does is for things like edit boxes, it uses the standard controls on top of canvas background so that it still maintains that functionality of copy and paste. Because if you've ever used canvas before, you know that yes, you can create text boxes, but you lose the ability to copy and paste. So what we've done is we've actually combined, both of those things to give you the best of both worlds. So first of all, of course, you can easily create windows and panels. They're movable. You have the option to minimize your panel, right? And you also have the option to maximize your panel. So pretty standard stuff. Now we have a couple tabs here, and the first one is layout. So the way that we have structured this library is that you don't have to set coordinates, X and Y coordinates to actually place your element. But we have a variety of layouts that you can use. And what it does is it automatically lays out the elements for you. Now, yes, you can override it and place coordinates if you want, but you also have access to this auto layout feature, which just makes it easier to, get the placement on these controls even better. So the first one that we have is stack layout. This one is, pretty self-explanatory. It stacks the controls vertically, or you can stack them horizontally, right? The next one we have is a grid layout. So you can say, I want 3 columns, 2 rows, and then you can start to place your components inside of a grid layout. The next one is panels and cards. So you can have a panel layout and you also have access to cards. So cards are really good, when you're creating dashboards or you want to show information in a nice way. So these are just a couple examples of some of the cards that you can create. We also have the element spacing and dividers. Now, before I continue, just to finish off on the layouts, this window also, it is auto scalable. So if you end up, moving the chart, or as you can see, expanding, everything expands inside automatically. So you don't have to kind of code for that. It's all taken care for you. Now, just going back here to the next element, you've got spacers and dividers. Here's a divider in the middle, and then you can have elements on either side. We also have a scroll area, so you can put content inside of a scroll area, pretty basic element here. So if we go back up now and we go to inputs, so what kind of inputs are available in the library? So first of all, you've of course got buttons. You have icon buttons, and you have buttons with different preset colors, right? But everything that you see, of course, you can modify, colors, borders, everything like that. But it also does come with easy presets so that you can, make changes quickly. You've also got different types of checkboxes. So you've got, checks, you can have it filled, you can have, a cross in there instead. You got your toggles, so you got nice toggles here. You've got your radio groups, right, with different, check options. You've also got nice sliders, both vertical and horizontal. So these are, real nice. Everything works really, really smooth. Of course, you've got your spin edits where, if you're creating, let's say a trade panel and you want to do lot sizes or risk, your spin edits, that is going to be essential. You've got your text controls. So you've got multi-line text box. So this is just read only, but you can display information. You also have a normal text box, which you can type. Now, remember I mentioned to you that, this is a text box that you can copy and paste in. So if you right click, you can see I've got the option to paste and I can copy as well. So that's a really nice feature. If you also notice that all the borders are nice and rounded, this is something that you can customize. You don't need to have rounded borders. You can have, just a normal square border, but that's completely up to you. But I just like the round borders. I think it gives a nice touch. So continuing down, right, we have a combo box. Now this is quite cool. So this is a combo box which is filtered. So you can actually remove this, and essentially if it has nothing in there, you'll get every option. But if you, for example, want to search or you want to narrow down your options, you can put in something here, and then it will only return, what has been found by the search, essentially. You've got your normal drop down box, right? So pretty standard stuff. Now we have a date picker here, which is pretty cool. So a nice little calendar here, and you can select your dates. You can also, go back, select your month, or go back further and select your year. That's pretty cool. We also have color pickers. So the library has a color picker, as you can see, giving you total control, total freedom over what colors that you pick. And you can also manually, type in your colors here as well. So that concludes the inputs tab. Next up, we have some data views, right? So here we have multiple views. So we've got a single column list view here. Obviously there's no scroll because it's not long enough, but then you've also got a multi-column and scrollable list view. So again, pretty cool. You have some buttons that you can play with to manipulate this data. I'll leave that up to you. We also have tables here, as you can see, tables. You can sort the tables if you just click on the headers, so that's nice. And yeah, and these tables can be, styled in any way that you want. We have a tree view component, which is nice, and this way you can kind of stack a multiple layered menu, and each section is collapsible and expandable. And you can also do, more than just 2 levels. You can add as many levels, I think, as you want to. So next up is navigation, right? So we have different variations of, navigation bars, tab menus. So as you can see, this is using a horizontal menu with icons. You can use icon only in this example, as you can see. You have icons and, text. You also have text only. And then you have the same but vertical, right? So if you want a vertical nav bar, you can do that as well. We have a toolbar. So this toolbar is fully customizable. You can put whatever buttons that you want on this toolbar. And lastly, we have accordion. So, this is a really nice feature. It's a nice way to, separate certain information, like if you've got, certain settings that you're putting in your panel, or even things like an FAQ or whatever. So that is a nice touch. Let's go over to now display. So here in the display, of course, you've got text and labels. That is pretty basic for any library. And there's a couple different types of text. So you've got title, you've got body, you've got caption, right? So they're the three different types. I believe there is one more type as well. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but there is one more type. We also have badges in the library. So you can create badges really easily. There are some pre-made badges, like as you can see, but you can create your own custom ones as well. We have some really cool alert banners. So these, you can make these pop up at the top of your UI, for example. And again, we have different presets, and these banners are dismissible. So if you press the X, it will get rid of the banner. So this is a really nice touch here. We also have compact banners, so they don't have to be full width. They can be compact like this. Again, pretty nice touch. Next up, we have icons. So we've got various icons inside of the library. Some icons we're using an icon pack. And again, the way that we've done this, it's very, very efficient, right? We're very careful on how we manage memory, how we refresh these icons, in real time. We don't obviously refresh them, on every tick, for example. So everything has been thought of from the ground up to make sure that things are as smooth as possible. And then we also have icons that are drawn in Canvas directly. So if you don't want to use, these for whatever reason, then you have more icons in the canvas. We also have some loading and progress bars, which is a nice touch. So for example, progress bar, right? So you can see that. And then loading as well. So we've got dots, got ring loading, and we've got this loading bar here. So pretty nice animations, really, really smooth. The next area, we've got some color swatches and obviously just showing off some hover effects, which is, again, pretty cool. And then lastly, we've got the status bar. So if you look at the status bar, it is actually on the footer here, but this is a nice touch as well. You can display pretty much any information that you want to inside of the status bar. You can also obviously change the alignment any way that you want. So that's another nice feature. Scrolling up, we've got charts. So we've got various widgets. Now these widgets are normally good for creating dashboards, for displaying information. So we have a sparkline chart here. Of course, you can toggle the legend on and off. It can display various data. And also, again, the line width is customizable. The color is customizable. The grid, you can turn the grid off and things like that. We have another line chart here. This is going to be good if you're creating dashboards and you want to display, balance or equity. And it has a nice tooltip hover effect when you go over it. So that's pretty cool. We have other widgets such as the bar chart. Okay, we have a donut chart, and we also have a half gauge, right? So you can just play around and see, how it works, what it looks like. But again, trying to create all of this inside of MT5 from scratch is very, very difficult, and it will take you a long time. But with this library, it's all built for you, and you can use it very, very easily. So these are some of the charts that we've got here. Next up, overlays. So this is just going to be things like your dialog boxes, right? And as you can see, there's a nice effect. When a dialog box pops up, it darkens the whole background, right? So that's just a really nice effect. Okay, confirm box. This one is actually one of my favorites. We have a drawer inside of MT5. Let me show you what that is. So when you press the drawer, it comes out, and as you can see, it darkens the background, and you can put settings in here. So let me show you another example. So here, for example, I've got theme settings. I click on theme settings, it opens up the drawer, and as you can see, it's got nice settings here that you can play with. So you can fully customize this how you want, but this is a really good feature for any modern UI. So let me just quickly show you that you can toggle themes. You can create your own custom themes, but you can toggle our light theme here. So that's what it looks like in light mode. But yeah, pretty cool. Next up, we have the toast notification. So if you click on the toast, you can see in the bottom corner, it will bring a toast notification. It will automatically disappear as well, as you can see, right? So you've got different types of toast, and again, you can customize it yourself. And then we have tooltips. So if you hover over these buttons, you will see that it is actually a tooltip. It's pretty cool. Last one is events. So there are many custom events that we've made to detect things like when you're editing a table, or when you're doing certain actions inside of the library. You do have custom events, so you can play around with this, and you can basically monitor the events coming in. So I'll leave that for you to play with. Now, this is all of the components that we currently have inside of the library. I'm going to show you now just a couple examples of dashboards and panels that you could make. So here we have our second panel, the trading dashboard showcase. This will just give you an idea of the kind of panels and interfaces that you can create using the library. So let's just quickly go through it. So at the top here, you've got a bunch of buttons which essentially make up a toolbar, and you can do things like randomize the data just to kind of see what the dashboard looks like, and it changing in real time. Again, you've got another open settings, lovely drawer here on the side, which I just love. You can go through there and toggle some of the settings. You have a little risk notice, again showing you that dialog box. Now underneath that, you have a tab navigation menu, pretty standard one with just text. And then underneath that, you have some cards. Now I think these look really, really good. Again, cards are good for displaying information, especially in dashboards and things like that. And underneath the cards, you have widgets, right? Widgets and charts. So again, good for displaying, equity data or any data really that you have inside of your, your trading panel. So scrolling down even further, we've just got a nice little table to show open positions, right? And if you take a look on the right hand side, when I'm clicking on the table, it's firing those events and they are being captured. So all events are being captured, makes it really easy to connect, what you're doing with certain events that you want to fire. So if we scroll up now, we've got a few other tabs. We've got another position tab, which again is just really showing off the table in a bit bigger detail. And like I said, you can sort the table very, very easily. You've got another big chart here just to give you a closer look at that chart, and just a little settings panel. So this is the trading dashboard showcase. Feel free, just play around and see how it works. But let me now go to the final panel to show you another example of the kind of things you can create with this library. So if I go to the next tab, you'll see that I've got a little trading panel. Okay, so this is something that might look a little bit more familiar, to your average user who just wants, a little quick trading panel to help them go in and out of trade. So very, very basic, it is just an example or demonstration. It doesn't actually place any trades, but again, it's just trying to give you an idea as to what is possible. So, you can do things here like put your risk to reward on a slider. You can show your spread information on your little status bar here. Again, I had to include, the nice drawer that comes out on the side. This is literally one of my favorite controls in this library. I love that control. And yeah, just showing you again what it could look like. Guys, that's the library. That is some examples of what you can create in the library and all of the controls. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I believe that this is the best library at the moment for MT5. It makes your life so much easier. If you are a developer or you just someone who creates EAs and panels and you want to have the best looking panels around, then make sure that you get this library. The link will be down in the description below. Check it out. And in the future, I will be doing some tutorials to show you how you can create certain panels, quick coding tutorials to show you how it all works. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you share it with all of your developer friends so that everyone hears about this library that they need to be using. Alright guys, until the next video, I will speak with you all soon.